Hey everybody, I'm Gardiner, the Linux Gamer, and with the Steam Summer Sale in full swing, I wanted to talk about a game that I personally love, despite its glaring issues, Oddworld, new and tasty. It's a 2.5D side-scroller developed by Just Add Water and published by Oddworld Inhabitants. Oddworld New and Tasty was released for Linux February 25th, 2015. I bought this game with the help of my incredible patrons. Thanks guys, you make this possible. If you want to help this channel grow, you can pledge a monthly contribution over on Patreon, or you can hit that subscribe button. Oddworld New and Tasty is a remake of Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, which is a game I used to play way back on my PS1. The game is a total remake of the original, but it retains so much of the source material that, in my opinion, the only noticeable difference is the graphics. Now I know this game is a reimagining in some levels and puzzles were changed, but just hear me out. The Oddworld universe has a bleak and somewhat subversive sensibility, populated with numerous sentient creatures that are just odd. They feel straight out of the 90s, and that's because they are. But I have to say that Oddworld New and Tasty is one of the best looking Unity engine games I've seen. The varied environments, the incredible lighting effects, the character animation. This title feels like a AAA game where most other Unity games feel empty. Now let's talk about the controls, because as I said earlier, it feels like the only thing that's been improved here is the graphics. The controls are no exception. They feel like the controls were pulled directly off the PS1 disc. They're stiff, awkward, and feel like they're actively fighting against your success. Now if you consider the context of the game, who the main protagonist is, and the general clumsiness of the Mudokon species, then perhaps these unresponsive controls were purposeful. And I will admit that these controls push me to play the game in a slower, more thoughtful manner, but then there are moments where you're riding Elam or you need to make a quick escape and you're left helpless. Also, a minor note here, I took the time to set up my DualShock 4's touchpad to provide on-screen communication prompts. This was a significant improvement over the D-pad method of communicating with my allies, which never once felt like it worked properly. In Oddworld New and Tasty, you play as Abe. You live in a threatening and dangerous environment. You're a weak, unarmed slave trying to save others in your species from being turned into food. The game features a dizzying array of puzzles that often go unexplained. Even on the easiest difficulty, the title can be pretty challenging, but said challenge often leads to a great dopamine rush as you finally solve the puzzle that's held you up for the last 15 minutes. This game makes you feel about as clever as Portal does, which is probably why I like it so much. There are a ton of mechanics to get into, so I'll just cover the basics. It's a side-scrolling platformer that takes a bit of inspiration from the Metroidvania genre. You can sneak, hide, run, jump, roll, and ride your way through each level. There are hazards that will insta-kill you, guards you need to outsmart, and allies who often feel like a liability. You have psychic abilities that can possess enemies, open portals, and cause explosions. And finally, you can communicate with people, your fellow Mudokon slaves, Mudokon priests who will kill you with their Wolverine claws if you can't fart in the right order. You can even talk with your naked pet Tauntaun. Now let's talk about performance. The game is broken and buggy, almost to the point of being unplayable. While recording footage for this video, the game crashed at least 3 times. One of the times, it even brought Steam down with it. It's not well optimized either. It's built on the Unity engine, which, in my opinion, rarely sees a release that's stable, let alone playable. The frame rate dips well into the teens during gameplay, especially when there's a ton of action on screen. Vertical tearing is an issue, even with VSync enabled, and the D-pad never seemed to register the correct button presses when trying to communicate with characters, which became crucial later on in the game. So why am I still talking about and still playing Oddworld, knowing how buggy and broken it is? It's because of the story. The story is really good and pretty funny. I thoroughly enjoyed this game, and I'm not going to spoil anything here, but I also know that many people won't play the game because of how broken it can be at times. On to the final score. Oddworld New and Tasty tries my patience, pushes my buttons, and crashes all the time. But for some reason, I still play the game, and I actually love this title. It's only $4.99 during the summer sale, and if you can get past the brokenness, or you're a sucker for the Oddworld franchise, it might just be worth the price of admission. It's available for Linux through the Humble Store, GOG, and Steam. Links are in the description. Have you played Oddworld New and Tasty? Could you get over how broken it was? Leave me a comment and let me know, or tweet at me at the Linux Gamer. You might consider supporting videos like this over on Patreon. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more from me, the Linux Gamer. Don't forget to like and share this video with your friends, and as always, thank you so much for watching.